This is Algebra 2, Lesson 2.8, Systems of Linear Inequalities. So, I think this is going to be hopefully easy. If 2.7 went well, because we're doing the exact same thing, just doing it twice. So we have two equations now instead of one equation. We're going to plot the boundary lines, do some shading, and then do it again, and that's about it. So we're going to start with this first one here. I'll use red. We have our intercept. And then we have our slope in fraction form, rise 3, run 2. So on my graph, we're going to start at -2. We are going to rise 3 and run 2. Repeat, rise 3, run 2. And let's go backwards, down 3, left 2. Because I have a or equal to symbol, right, less than or equal to, I will draw a solid line to connect those boundary points. And because that is a less than symbol, I should be shading down. Rather than fully shading right now, I'm just going to add some down arrows under the line to remind myself that I am shading that equation down, okay? You could do like a light shade, but I think just having some down arrows helps to know where to go. For my second equation, I have an intercept value of +1. I have a slope of -1, and I can divide by the invisible 1 without changing that value, so I know my rise and my run. I'm going to start at +1. I'm going to go down 1 and right 1. I'm going to repeat down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1, until we fill up the picture. Because we have a greater than, I will not connect these dots with a solid line. I will use a dashed line. And then, because we have a greater than, I should be shading above the line, so I will draw 2 arrows pointing up to show where my shaded region is, okay? So now, if you look at this like a big X, on the far left, there are 0 arrows in that region, okay? If we look up, we have 1 arrow in this region. If we look down, we have 1 arrow in this region. And if we look to the right, we have 2 arrows in this region. Ooh, I think I can do this. I should have been doing this all along. So I'm going to be shading the region that has 2 arrows right here as my solution. And that is it. Okay? So rather than shading one of 2 regions like our inequalities we were doing in the previous lesson, now we're shading one of the 4 regions, usually, based on above the blue line and below the red line. Okay? Let's try another one. Same kind of deal. My intercept on this one is 3. My slope, because I don't see an x, is 0. There are 0 x's, but we always go over 1 for our rise and our run. So I'm going to start at 3. I'm going to rise 0 and run 1. This is a horizontal line at y equals 3. And it is a dotted line because I have the less than symbol. It does not have a solid line. And because it is a less than, I am going down. I'll put 2 down arrows, 1 on each side, under the line. For my second equation, we have y greater than or equal to 2x. My b in this case is not given. A blank b is a 0. My slope in this case is 2. Okay? And I'm going to add the over 1 to make it easy to graph. So I am starting at 0, and then I'm going to rise 2, run 1, rise 2, run 1, rise 2, run 1. Same pattern moving backward. Because it is an or equal to, right, a greater than or equal to, we will draw in the equal to. And then, because it's a greater than, we will go up from the line. So I can see one region, that tiny region in the top right, no arrows. Okay? I have the next two bigger regions on top and on the bottom right with one arrow each. And then the region that I would like to shade is where I see two arrows, right here and right here, up on the blue, down on the red. This is my shaded region. Okay? And that's it. Continuing on, check if the point is a solution to the systems above. So I'm going to use these 3 points in problem A, and I will use these 3 points in problem B. We are checking just like we did on the previous lesson. If it's in the shaded region, that's a yes for sure. In a non-shaded region, that's a no. On a solid line is a yes, and on a dotted line is a no. So we'll start with 3, 1. That would be 3 right, 1 up. He is a yes. We'll give him an I. So we're labeling. Next we have 2, 1. 2, 1 is 2 to the right and 1 up. He is not really in the shaded region, but he is on a solid line. So he is a yes. I'm going to scroll so I can see the bottom one here. -2, 3. -2, 3. I mean, he's way out in nowhere. He is on the dotted line, but he's way out in nowhere. That's a no. Letter B on the second graph. Point 1 is 3, 1. He's in the non-shaded region. He's a no. Point 2, 1, 2. He is on the solid line. That is a yes. And the third point, -2, +3. -2, +3. He is on the dotted line. So he gets a no. So again, shaded region, yes. Solid line, yes. Dotted line, no. Non-shaded region, no. And that's it. Good luck on the exercises. Please let me know if you have any questions.